We are witnessing a massive shift. Tech giants are racing for ultimate control. Beyond the hype lies the real turning point. This is where the future is being written.
All right, let's jump right into this explainer. We're looking at what might be the most massive, glaring contradiction in the AI world today. Google just dropped a whole flurry of brand new, highly advanced models, basically changing their AI landscape overnight. But their flagship, the one we've all been waiting for, nowhere to be found.
So that's the big question we're tackling today. Where on earth is Gemini 3.5 Pro? Why is Google aggressively pushing out everything around their marquee product while the main event is basically MIA? You know, it's a mystery, but it actually tells us a lot about the current state of the AI race.
And honestly, the data backs up just how wild this is. Look at the August 1st search queries. You guys are actively hunting for answers about 3.5 Pro. I mean, it is vastly outpacing searches for things like ChatGPT 6 or DeepSeek. This delay is, without a doubt, the biggest curiosity gap in the industry right now. You aren't just browsing for generic AI news, you are looking specifically for this delayed model.
But instead of giving us what we were all searching for, Google threw a massive curveball. On July 21st, 2026, they completely caught the industry off guard. There was no cancellation announcement, but there was no 3.5 Pro either. Instead, they dropped something totally different. They suddenly launched these three entirely new models: Gemini 3.6 Flash, 3.5 Flash Lite, and 3.5 Flash Cyber. Now, according to Google, these models are hyper-focused on efficiency, super low latency, and building AI agents at scale. Basically, they're optimizing for sheer speed and specific workloads like cybersecurity and lightweight tasks.
So why the sudden pivot? Well, reputable reporting from Reuters points out that the 3.5 Pro delay is actually tied directly to its coding performance, which raises a really fascinating question, right? If Google can crank out highly efficient, lightweight models, why is their massive flagship struggling with code?
Well, the answer lies in how AI coding has evolved. It's no longer just, hey, write me a simple function. To stay competitive, it now requires an autonomous agent to complete really complex, multi-step software engineering workflows. We're talking inspecting repositories, planning, executing, testing, and here's the kicker, actually diagnosing its own errors. A model can ace a basic chat test, but just completely fall apart on a long-running engineering task.
And that brings us to Google's overarching strategy for 2026, which totally reframes how we should view this delay. Google has explicitly said we're entering a brand new agentic Gemini era. They aren't just trying to build a slightly better chatbot to answer trivia questions. They are building systems designed to do actual autonomous work.
Because think about it, if Google solves this agentic coding puzzle, they possess an absolutely unmatched distribution advantage. They can embed these autonomous agents straight into their massive existing ecosystem: Search, Android, Chrome, YouTube, Workspace, Cloud. That is a distribution pipeline literally nobody else on the planet has.
But of course, they aren't running this race alone. OpenAI is playing a fiercely competitive game here. They're pushing the absolute boundaries of autonomous tool use with GPT 5.6, heavily prioritizing computer use, cybersecurity, and those really difficult long-horizon workflows. You know, the kinds of tasks that take hours or days to complete, rather than just seconds.
So we have this incredible dynamic brewing between two titan strategies. On one side, Google is leveraging its massive ecosystem distribution, basically putting AI everywhere you already are. And on the other, OpenAI is leaning heavily into building incredibly capable, standalone, independent agents. But wait, as your search data pointed out earlier, DeepSeek v4 has entered the chat. It's already in preview, boasting a staggering 1 million token context window. That means it can remember and process huge amounts of information all at once, with a really heavy emphasis on efficiency.
So we're now looking at this massive three-way strategic tension that is totally redefining the AI race. Google's pushing ecosystem distribution, OpenAI is pushing raw autonomy, and DeepSeek is attacking from a completely different angle, using open weights. They're letting developers download and modify the model directly, laser-focused on low-cost efficiency. It's not just about raw power anymore, it's pushing the boundaries of cost-effective utility.
Because of this intense three-way pressure, the whole industry paradigm has shifted. We've moved past just asking which model has the highest benchmark score on some standardized test. The defining question today is, which model can autonomously complete the most valuable, real-world work?
And answering that question introduces the economics of intelligence. Every single leap in reasoning power demands immense real-world resources. We are talking about staggering inference costs, the ongoing computing power just to run these models, plus sprawling data centers, thousands of GPUs, and massive electrical consumption. Basically, intelligence is incredibly expensive.
Therefore, the ultimate winner of the AI race might not actually be the absolute smartest model in a vacuum. It might just be the model that delivers useful, autonomous, agentic work at the most sustainable economic cost. I mean, if a model is slightly less smart but drastically cheaper and faster, that could be infinitely more valuable to an enterprise.
So, bringing this all back to our central mystery, the delayed Gemini 3.5 Pro, there is a highly optimistic interpretation we have to consider. What if Google is simply taking extra time in testing, training, and evaluation to ensure the flagship is a dramatic, game-changing leap in capability? Maybe they're just flat-out refusing to release it prematurely because they know it has to be perfect. On the flip side, though, we do have to look at the massive technical hurdles involved. This delay might signal a deeper industry truth. Building reliable, long-horizon agents that can actually recover from their own mistakes, it's proving way harder than anyone anticipated. A frontier model has to follow complex instructions consistently, without hallucinating over long tasks, and man, that is a monumental challenge.
For those of you tracking the singularity or artificial general intelligence, the reality is that AGI won't be this single, sudden cinematic moment. It's a gradual, multi-step transition. We're moving from chatbots that merely answer to systems that reason, act, plan, and eventually collaborate autonomously, just like human researchers and engineers.
Ultimately, what this explainer reveals is that the delay of one specific model has exposed a much bigger, far more profound industry shift. Real-world capability and economic efficiency now totally trump raw hype and synthetic benchmarks. The next massive breakthrough isn't going to be the AI that talks the best. It's going to be the AI that actually gets the most difficult work done.
So I want to turn this over to you. When Gemini 3.5 Pro finally does drop, it's going to show us exactly where this industry is heading. But until then, what's your take? Do you think Google is genuinely struggling with complex coding agents, or are they quietly preparing a massive ecosystem-wide takeover? Think about it, and as always, keep learning.